Hello students and welcome to the lecture. So students, as we know that we are covering the scheduled and tribal areas, right? This is the topic on which we have been discussing. Okay. Within this particular series of the scheduled and the tribal areas, within this particular series, okay, these all are the topics we have scheduled for the discussion. Like starting with the introduction part, thereafter the scheduled areas in India, an overview of it, then the criteria for the identification of scheduled area, then the constitutional provisions and the governance, then concerns that are related to the scheduled areas, administration of the scheduled areas, scheduled tribes, general concerns that are being faced by the tribal community, addressing the challenges, like how do we address these challenges, significance of the indigenous communities, problems that are being faced by the tribal groups, conclusion, and the administration of tribal areas. Okay, so these are the topics we have scheduled for the discussion. If we talk about the topics we have covered so far, so basically we have done with the introduction part, we have done with the scheduled areas in India, an overview of it, we have done with the criteria for the identification of scheduled areas, done with the constitutional provisions and governance, done with the concerns that are related to the scheduled areas, done with the administration of scheduled areas, done with the scheduled tribes. Okay, so basically these are the topics we have covered so far. If we talk about the topic on which we have been discussing, so this is general concerns of the tribal community. Okay, this is the topic on which we have been discussing right now. If we talk about the topic that we are left with, these topics are the addressing the challenges, significance of the indigenous community, problems that are being faced by the tribal groups, conclusion, and the administration of the tribal areas. Okay, so this is the picture that we have created so far altogether. Basically, in this lecture, we will start from where we have left in the previous one. Okay, so basically, we have discussed the deforestation in the previous lecture. Now we are going to talk about this one. Like the topic, the series that we are discussing, as we know, this is the scheduled and the tribal areas. Basically, we are discussing the general concerns that are being faced by the tribal community. All right. And basically, we are going to talk about the agricultural expansion. Okay. This is the another concern, you can say. Okay. So basically, if you look at this thing, agricultural expansion, what you will say how this could be an concern. How we can say that this is a concern. This should be the benefit of it. Okay. How? Why? That's the thing. So basically, why you are getting that it should be the benefit? Because you are just reading this agricultural expansion. And this could be connected to the facts and figures that we had, you can say, discussed in the previous lecture. Right? When we were discussing the previous lectures, basically I was telling you, like the schedule and the tribals, basically they have been neglected since the years or since the centuries, basically you can say. All right. And basically these were those who were not doing the agriculture. These were those who were living in the forest and totally depend upon these things and all. All right. So now if they are doing the agriculture, their agriculture expansion is going on, then why we are saying that this is the concern? That should be the good part, right? That should be the good part, because we want them to get indulged with the mainstream, and now by doing the agriculture, they are getting indulged into it. Why? Just think about it. Why? The clear answer is that first is the line itself. They were not doing the agriculture, they were living in the forest. Just catch the word, they were living in the forest. It means since the starting, the forest has been their home. Okay, whatsoever they are doing, whatsoever they have for survival. All of these things come from one place that is called the forest. Okay, so when the agricultural expand, it requires the land to cultivate the crops. And from where this land comes? This land comes from clearing the forest area. Okay, from clearing the forest areas. Got it? So basically, in terms of expanding the agriculture, basically we finishing the homes. Got it? Second is the type of agriculture they are doing. Okay, because when we talk about it, so agriculture is benefit for the country as long as it is for commercial uses. Okay, if the agriculture is for self-use and non-commercial, then it is not so much that effective as it is effective when it is for commercial purpose. For example, if the farmer is cultivating 10 ton of wheats, okay, or you can say 10 ton of wheat crops. If the farmer is selling it in the market, basically the food market is getting the supply to meet the demand. All right. So that will be a commercial part, even that will be a beneficial for nation. Why? Because in the nation's food market, the food would be there. Got it? But if the farmer is growing 10 ton of wheats, if the farmer is growing 10 ton of wheat, but this wheat that he is growing, it is for his own benefit. It is for his own benefit. It means that he is doing it for his family only. The 10 ton wheat that he has cultivated, that will be in his family only. He won't sell it to the market. Then basically that would be a called a subsistence farming. It means when the farmer is growing the crops only for self-consumption, not for commercial purpose. And that will be not so much effective for the nation's food market. Why? Because when the food market is cut off from the supply, why? Because the crops are not coming to the market. Then how it will be able to meet the demand, right? That is the thing. So basically the tribals generally do the subsistence farming. It means that they do the farming for themselves only. Okay, not for the commercial purposes. So agriculture will get them into the mainstream, that is totally become useless here. Why? Because the agriculture that we practice in the mainstream, that is moreover for the commercial uses. However, the farmers keep some share from the crops that they had grown for their self-consumption, for the family consumption, but more part of it they usually sell in the market as it is the part of their livelihood. But this provision is not applicable with the tribals. Okay, so agriculture, subsistence farming will not bring the tribals into the mainstream. Clear? Okay. Second thing is the slash and burn agriculture. Like as I have told you, that is also the concern during the British time. So slash and burn agriculture is also known as shifting cultivation. About shifting cultivation, I had explained you in detail. I will again explain you. Okay, in order if you have forgotten it or you haven't revised the previous lecture, then I will again explain it to you. But before this, I'm going to ask you a simple question. What is the another name of shifting cultivation that I had told you? To answer this, you will have 30 seconds to think and answer. Okay. Now your time is going to be start now. Time starts now. Just think about it. All right, 10 seconds have been passed off. Last 20s are remaining. Last 10 seconds are there. Okay, the time's up. The correct answer of this is zooming cultivation. Zooming cultivation is the another name of the shifting cultivation, and shifting cultivation also known as slash and burn agriculture. About it, I had already explained you. By its name, you will find the things slash and burn. So basically what the person do in this kind of agriculture, First, he finds out the land. Okay. This land is usually finds out in the forest. Forest is having the trees. Okay. So what the man do? Man selected the size of the land, like how much land he requires. For example, if he requires a 1 acre land, then what he will do? He will cut down the trees of 1 acre area. He will cut down the trees of 1 acre area. Okay. And then he will make the plain, or you can say he will make the field plain. Okay. Plain or level. After doing it, then he will burn the trees and shrubs that he has got from the forest. And the ash that he will get after burning them, he will spread it over the land or the soil. Okay. Because that will work as an fertilizer. And then he will grow the crops over there. All right. But the main issue comes here. First issue is that the forest cover has been reduced because the forest trees have been cut down. First issue. Second is he will not do agriculture on that particular area which he has cleared for a lifetime. Basically, he will do the agriculture there for a short duration. Okay. Up to 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Once the tenure will over, then what he will do? He will move to another area, cut down the trees after selecting the land dimension. Then again the procedure will be the same. He will level the field. Okay. He will burn the trees and shrubs. He will spread over the ashes over the soil. Okay. And then grow the crops over there for 2 to 3 years. Then again move. So basically that will be called that it is an shifting cultivation. Why? Because the farmer is shifting from one land to another, another to another after a short time span. Okay. So now you could imagine that basically first he cleared the 3 acre land area from the forest, then again 3 acre, then again 3 acre. Total 9 acre of forest land has been cleared by him. Okay. And this is just an estimate. On the ground level, that thing is more worst. Okay. So even the Britishers were worried about it. Why? Because they required the forest for their own purposes, and because of slash and burn agriculture, shifting agriculture, or you can say the zooming cultivation, the forests were reducing. Okay. And this thing is quite common in the indigenous communities. Okay. Why? Because we have seen in the previous concerns also, like the indigenous communities are generally do not own a particular land. What I'm saying? The indigenous communities generally not owns a particular land. They usually do the shifting cultivation. Okay. So basically, this is called the sustainable shifting cultivation. Okay. And basically, this automatically reduces their area of land. Okay. But that is the one issue that is comes from the tribal community. Besides the tribals, the another thing that we have here is the non-tribal community. Non-tribal community, or the entities you could call them. Okay. So large scale agricultural expansion by a non-tribal entities also encroaching on the forest land. So you can say, suppose if there is a village, the village is from the mainstream or the normal area. For example, the village is from the mainstream or the normal area. All right. But that village touches the boundaries with the forest. That forest basically touches the boundary. That village basically touches the boundary of the forest, and the forest is that one. The forest is scheduled and tribal area. All right. Then the fields of the village, the agricultural fields of the village are lies on that side, the side that is touches the boundaries of the forest. Then basically what they will do, the villagers who are the non-tribal entities, because they are living in the mainstream or the normal areas. So basically to expand their agricultural land, they started cutting down the forest and expanded their land illegally. All right. Then what will happen? The agricultural expansion that is being done by the non-tribal entity, it is also encroaching the forest land. Why? Because they are clearing the forest lands and all. Okay. Next thing that we are here is the plantation. Okay, so plantations, if we talk about it, then the normal agriculture and the plantation both are different things. Many times I have seen people who get confused between them. Why? Because in the agriculture we grows the crops, in the plantations we grows the trees that are having some kind of fruits and all. And that's why, because the cultivation and growing is the same, so we generally merge the things. But technically they both are different. The agricultural expansion is different, the plantation is different. Why? Because when we talk about the normal agriculture entity or normal agriculture, okay, so basically when we do the normal agriculture, it like growing the crops, okay, clearing the clearing the fields, grows the crops and all, okay, and these crops are also different. Like in India there are the three agriculture seasons, okay. Now this is the another question, what is the name of these three agriculture seasons? To answer this, 30 seconds you guys will have, okay, to think about it and give the answer. All right, your time is going to be start now. Your time starts now. 10 seconds have been passed off, last 20s are remaining. All right, last 10 seconds are there to think and answer. All right, the time's up. The correct answer is Kharif, Rabi, and Zaid. Kharif, Rabi, and Zaid. These are the three crop seasons. All three crop seasons having the different type of crops that could be grown during this time of seasons. So basically, when we do the agriculture, all right. So basically, we grows the crops as per the going season. You will not grow the Rabi crops in the Kharif season. Why? Because the climatic conditions, the weather conditions will not be suitable for that crop. Similarly, we could not grow the Zaid crops during the time period of Kharif crops. Okay, because of the environmental and the climatic conditions. All right. So basically, as per the ongoing seasons, the crops differs. In the same agricultural lands, the different crops could be grown as per the ongoing season. Okay, but during the plantation, basically we do not grow the trees as per the seasons. Why? Because trees are not like the crops that could be grown easily. Okay, trees will require time to be grown. Okay, that is the reason we not grow the trees as the crops. Clear? Okay, then how we do it? What is the procedure? That becomes the thing. So basically, if we talk about it, we can say in the plantations, we generally get the you can say long stretch of the land on which we do the monoculture plantation. What we do the monoculture plantation. Here you will see the word monoculture has been used. What is the meaning of this one? That basically means the single type. That means the single type. It means in the monoculture we grow the single type of plants. Okay, or single type of trees. Like you can say, if it is the rubber plantation, if it is a rubber plantation, then all the plants, all the trees that you will find in that particular plantation, that all will be of rubber. If that is the oil palm, then all the trees, all the things you will find that will be of oil palm. Okay, it will not be an intermix or it will not be on rotation. Okay, and basically that is, you can say, hard for us. Why? Because that reduces the biodiversity. Got it? So now the question is, what do you understand by the biodiversity? What is the meaning of this? 30 seconds, time starts now. Just think about it. 10 seconds have been passed, last 20s are remaining. Last 10 seconds are there. The time is going to be up. The time's up. So if we talk about this one, this biodiversity term, all right. So basically we could see two things here. Biodiversity. Okay. So bio basically signifies the living. Bio basically signifies the living. All right. Diversity basically signifies the differentiation. So you can say in the broad, in the technical sense, that is the differentiation in the living beings. That is the differentiation in the living beings. All right. And that is requires. Why? Because the environment is not running by only the one single species. Okay. Or only the one single bio thing. And that is the one thing that all we humans should take care about. Okay. Like as a humans, we generally consume, not consume basically, we generally assume ourselves as the superiors than others. Okay. And that is not an good and valid idea. Why? Because the humans are important for the environment as the others are important for the environment. Okay. It means that we all are interconnected. We are not the interdependent to each other. Okay. So similarly, in the plantations, in the growing of the plants and all, basically the biodiversity is also required. Because without having the biodiversity, all right, we won't be able to survive alone. All right. And if you're talking about the biodiversity, all right, if we're talking about it, then there is a one thing, that is the Biodiversity Conservation Act. There is a Biodiversity Conservation Act, and about it I had told you within this lecture also. So it is not asking from the outer side, it is within this lecture. All right. So basically the question that I'm going to ask you is that in which year the Biodiversity Conservation Act came into the picture? I'm repeating, in which year the Biodiversity Conservation Act came into the picture? To answer this question, you will have 30 seconds. Time starts now. Just think about it. Within this particular series of the schedule and the tribals, we had discussed it, we have covered it. 20 seconds have been passed, last 10 are remaining. Time's up. Correct answer of this is Biodiversity Conservation Act 2002. When? 2002. Biodiversity Conservation Act 2002. All right. That was the thing. So students, basically in this lecture, we have finished till here. Okay. In the next lecture, we will continue from here. Till then, just revise the facts and figures we have discussed in this lecture. Be ready for the next lecture. With this note, let's end this lecture. And what we say